Okay, picture this. It's 1869, and two college teams, Rutgers and Princeton, are facing off in a chaotic mess of a game. Ever wondered how a game of chaos turned into America's biggest and most popular sport? Imagine a mix of soccer and rugby with a whole lot of confusion thrown in for good measure. They're kicking a round ball trying to shove it through goalposts, a far cry from the strategic passing and bone-crushing tackles we witness today. Fast forward 100 years, and the gridiron we know and love has emerged. But how did we get here? Well, buckle up, football fanatics, because we're about to embark on a wild ride through the history of the NFL. It's a story filled with legendary players, unforgettable moments, and enough passion to fill every stadium in the country. There's a reason the NFL is America's favorite pastime. The sport's more than just a game. It's a cultural phenomenon that brings people together on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and, well, you get the idea.
To start in the middle.
But before we dig into the excitement of modern-day NFL, let's rewind the clock and see where the gridiron glory all began. Before we dive further into the NFL's storied past, let's introduce you to a pivotal figure in football history, Walter Camp, often hailed as the father of American football. Walter Camp's vision and innovations in the late 19th century laid the groundwork for the game we cherish today. By introducing the line of scrimmage and the concept of downs, he transformed a chaotic brawl into a structured and strategic sport. He's known as the father of football more popularly. This legend, well, let's say he had a major impact on the game. His influence is the reason quarterbacks throw precise passes and defenses strategize with military precision. So grab some popcorn, crack open a cold one, and get ready to learn all about the fascinating history of the NFL. There's more to this story than meets the eye, and trust me, it's a touchdown you won't want to miss. While you're at it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Forget the electrifying atmosphere of a packed stadium, the bone-crushing tackles that leave you breathless, and the dazzling halftime light shows. Let's rewind the clock and travel back to a time when the NFL was a scrappy toddler, a far cry from the polished giant it is today. Here in the league's infancy, the year is 1892. And the game we know and love resembles a chaotic brawl more than anything else. Imagine rugby meets fistfight, played by a group of wild men who wouldn't be caught dead wearing helmets or pants. The brutality was such that by 1906, over 100 unfortunate souls had met their demise playing the game. Let's just say safety standards were a work in progress. Thankfully, a beacon of athletic brilliance emerged in 1920. Jim Thorpe, a man whose talent transcended the era. Thorpe wasn't just a football player, he was a force of nature. He spearheaded the formation of the first ever professional football league, the American Football Association, AFPA, a mouthful to be sure. This fledgling league, with its emphasis on actual rules, marked a significant step towards the strategic game we know today. Gone, hopefully, were the days of biting ears and gouging eyes, replaced at least in theory by structured and safer gameplay. But fast forward to the early days of the NFL, and things weren't exactly a picture of stability. Teams had names like the New York Knickerbockers, Detroit Heralds, and the Moline Universal Tractors. Not exactly names that inspire fanatical devotion. The financial situation wasn't much rosier. Players, far from the pampered athletes of today, often were milkmen or coal miners, cosplaying as football players. The league itself was teetering on the brink of collapse, with teams folding faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. College football, with its established programs and star players, completely overshadowed the fledgling NFL.
When college boys by the tens of thousands start kicking like Coreans and exercise.
It was like the awkward kid in the high school dance, desperately hoping to be noticed. Yet amidst the chaos and uncertainty, a flicker of hope remained. The NFL, like any underdog, possessed a fighting spirit. In 1958, the Baltimore Colts and New York Giants collided in an epic NFL championship game. The first ever to be decided in sudden death overtime, a contest forever enshrined as the greatest game ever played. This legendary matchup ushered in a new era of excitement and drama in the NFL playoffs. The NFL, though still young, had carved out a niche in American sports, but soon enough it was shaken by a force of innovation, the American Football League, or AFL, in 1960. The AFL wasn't your average upstart league. While they may not have had the established history of the NFL, they were far from a ragtag group. Backed by wealthy businessmen with a vision for the future of football, the AFL came out swinging. Their secret weapon? Television. An initial contract with ABC gave them a national platform, something the NFL at the time hadn't fully embraced. This access to television viewers was a game changer. The AFL, with its fresh perspective, challenged the NFL's dominance and forced both leagues to innovate. The established NFL, feeling the heat from this energetic competitor, expanded to new markets like Dallas and Minnesota in an attempt to maintain control. But the AFL wasn't just about competition. It was a league built on exciting new ideas. It introduced features that are now staples of the game. The now familiar scoreboard clock, the heart-stopping two-point conversion option, and even players' names emblazoned on jerseys. These weren't just cosmetic changes. They made the game faster, more strategic, and ultimately more exciting for the fans. Here's where things got interesting. Some say the AFL entered the scene with a bit of swagger. Fueled by their ambitious owners, they weren't afraid to play hardball. They offered lucrative contracts to NFL players, like Pete Gowak, tempting him to jump ship. They aggressively pursued TV deals, further squeezing the NFL out of the national spotlight. There's no denying it. The AFL was aiming to take down the NFL by any means necessary.
First player draft on November 22, 1959.
This aggressive strategy wasn't sustainable in the long run. The bidding war for players was driving up salaries to a point where both leagues were hemorrhaging money. The NFL, despite its established fan base, was struggling to keep pace with the AFL's financial muscle. It was becoming a fight to the death, with bankruptcy looming for both sides. Realizing this destructive stalemate, cooler heads prevailed.
Of that year, a tentative agreement was reached.
That was going to get done was a very complicated issue.
After 7 years of battling it out, the two leagues decided that merging was the only way forward. In 1970, the AFL and NFL joined forces, forming the behemoth that we know today. A single, unified league with a championship game for the ages, the Super Bowl. The AFL's innovative spirit and the NFL's established fan base proved to be a winning combination, forever changing the landscape of professional football.
One of the really difficult situations to resolve was reconfiguring.
The NFL's journey to the top had bumps and bruises. 1972 saw one of the most debated plays in league history, the Immaculate Reception. During the final play of the AFC Divisional Playoff game, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, Terry Bradshaw, threw a desperation pass that bounced off a cluster of players. Miraculously, it landed in the hands of Steelers running back Franco Harris, who scampered into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown.
Films clearly showed that the ball was off of Tatum's body, not off of Frenchie's.
The problem? The rules back then prohibited any offensive player from touching a pass deflected by another teammate. The play, though seemingly impossible, was ruled a touchdown after a lengthy on-field conference by the refs. Raider fans and players erupted in outrage, arguing the call was a blatant steal. The controversy surrounding the Immaculate Reception only added to the drama and intrigue of the NFL.
The Steelers had 73 seconds when they got the ball. They used 68 seconds of them. That's Jim Boston, who is ahead of the stadium with 1:13 to play. Now they're phoning up, I think, maybe something about the clock for him, too. Art Rooney, who that was a movie, The Miracle of 34th Street. This is The Miracle of Three Rivers.
The rest of the play belonged to dominance. The Steelers, fueled by the momentum of that controversial play, became a dynasty, winning a staggering 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Their roster boasted 9 future Hall of Famers, a testament to their sheer talent and power. But they weren't alone. The Dallas Cowboys, led by a charismatic Roger Staubach and dubbed America's Team, also got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Now for Pittsburgh. The Steelers are the Super Bowl champions.
However, the Miami Dolphins etched their name in history with an accomplishment unmatched to this day. In the 1972 season, they became the only team in NFL history to complete a perfect season, going a flawless 17-0. This feat, a testament to their incredible coaching and team spirit, solidified the Dolphins' place in NFL lore. However, the 1980s brought a somber note to the league's rise. 3 separate plane crashes over a short period, carrying teams from Marshall University, the University of Evansville, and the U.S. boxing team, resulted in the tragic deaths of 191 people.
A charter jet carrying the Marshall University football team home to West Virginia crashed last night as it tried to land at the Huntington Airport. All 75 persons aboard were killed.
This horrific event forced the NFL to reevaluate its safety protocols. New guidelines were established, including a disaster draft to allow teams affected by tragedies to replenish their rosters. Stricter rules were also implemented to protect players from head, neck, and face injuries. Safety became a paramount concern, a stark reminder of the human cost associated with the game. But the league also witnessed the rise of legends in the 80s. In 1985, the San Francisco 49ers drafted Jerry Rice, a wide receiver who would go on to shatter records. Rice still holds the titles for most receiving yards and most touchdowns in NFL history. Teaming up with the legendary quarterback Joe Montana, they dominated the decade, capturing 2 Super Bowl wins. These superstars transcended the sport, becoming household names and cultural icons.
I still have to pinch myself. I can't believe some of the things I have done.
Until that comeback, Joe Montana.
By the 1990s, the Super Bowl had become a cultural phenomenon, pulling in an average of 80 million viewers annually. But the NFL recognized a potential weakness: the lackluster halftime shows. Desperate to boost viewership, they made a bold move in 1993. They called upon the biggest pop star in the world, Michael Jackson. His electrifying performance, complete with fireworks, pyrotechnics, and the iconic moonwalk, became the most watched television broadcast of all time. This marked a turning point. The Super Bowl halftime show became an event in itself, attracting viewers as much as the game itself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Radio City Music Hall Productions and the National Football League proudly present an unprecedented Super Bowl.
Yet the NFL's journey to the top wasn't without its dark chapters. On June 12, 1994, America was rocked by the news of Nicole Brown Simpson's murder. The ex-wife of NFL legend and Monday Night Football broadcast alum O.J. Simpson. The public's initial shock quickly turned into suspicion as O.J. became a prime suspect. The ensuing media frenzy was unlike anything ever seen before. When O.J. led police on a televised low-speed chase, over 95 million viewers tuned in, a stark reminder of the league's growing hold on the national consciousness. The trial itself became a cultural phenomenon, exposing racial tensions and flaws in the justice system. Ultimately, O.J. was acquitted, but the case left an indelible stain on the NFL's image.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
The shadow of crime loomed large over the NFL in the late 90s. Several high-profile incidents involving players tarnished the NFL's reputation. These incidents heightened the dark side of fame and fortune, raising concerns about player conduct. The new millennium ushered in a new era for the NFL, the era of big money. Fueled by lucrative TV deals, merchandise sales, and corporate sponsorships, the league's value skyrocketed to a staggering $12 billion. Players, recognizing their growing leverage, demanded a bigger piece of the pie. Salaries ballooned as teams competed to retain their stars. Brett Favre, Randy Moss, and others all signed contracts exceeding $30 million, a far cry from the salaries of previous decades. It was a feat they hadn't imagined for themselves at all. In 2001, the New England Patriots found themselves in a precarious situation. Their star quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, suffered a season-ending injury. The future of the team seemed bleak. It felt like the end of the world. Enter Tom Brady, a 6th-round draft pick who had barely seen any playing time. Lanky and unassuming, Brady looked anything like a star athlete. However, given the circumstances, he was thrust into the starting role. What followed was a storybook ending. Spectacularly unbelievable. Brady, the unheralded rookie, led the Patriots on an improbable run to the Super Bowl victory. This underdog triumph not only revitalized the Patriots franchise, but also launched Tom Brady on a legendary career. Brady's success defied expectations and captured the imagination of fans. He quickly became the face of the Patriots and ultimately the face of the NFL.
On second down, looking for Gronkowski. He hauled it in, and he's in for the touchdown.
The rise of Tom Brady marked a turning point for the league. He embodied a new era of professionalism and excellence. His rags-to-riches story resonated with fans, helping to repair the image tarnished by the scandals of the previous decade. The 2000s became synonymous with a rivalry between Brady and Peyton Manning. Brady, the calm and calculated leader with ice water in his veins, and Manning, the strategic mastermind with a golden arm, rewrite NFL history books in a back-and-forth duel for dominance. Their battles on the field became a must-watch spectacle, captivating fans and defining an era. Monday Night Football games featuring these two titans became appointment television, with analysts dissecting every play and fans glued to their screens, yearning for their team's quarterback to emerge victorious.
MVP Tom Brady, who has virtually every record for a quarterback. A fake to Dominic Rhodes, a pass down the middle, what a catch by Marcus.
While Brady and Manning dominated the pocket with their pinpoint accuracy and surgical precision, Michael Vick emerged as a revolutionary force. Vick's electrifying speed and ability to escape pressure with his legs redefined the quarterback position. He became a nightmare for defenses, leaving them grasping at air as he scrambled for first downs or unleashed laser throws on the run. Vick paved the way for future stars like Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson, who combined pinpoint passing with game-changing runs, becoming a dual-threat nightmare that defenses still struggle to contain today.
There. Jackson a first down, accelerates, shooting down the sideline.
The mid-2000s are a stark reminder that the NFL isn't immune to controversy. In Deflategate 2014, the New England Patriots were accused of tampering with footballs, raising questions about fair play and the integrity of the game.
In January of 2000.
Tom Brady, the Golden Boy, faced suspension and the team was penalized. The scandal left a bitter taste in fans' mouths, and whispers of a cheater culture began to cloud the Patriots' legacy. Another dark chapter unfolded in Bountygate in 2007. The New Orleans Saints, a team looking to go all the way, were caught offering bounties to players who injure opponents, a blatant disregard for player safety and sportsmanship. These scandals cast a shadow on the league, forcing it to reevaluate its policies and implement stricter punishments to deter future wrongdoing.
You're listening to New Orleans Saints defensive coordinator Greg Williams, firing up his players before a January playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers.
The late 2000s brought a touch of absurd alongside moments of pure sporting magic. A referee lockout in 2012 led to a hilarious and frustrating situation. Replacement refs with questionable calls and an inability to grasp the intricacies of the game. The infamous Fail Mary play in Seattle, where a blown call handed the Seahawks a controversial victory, became a national punchline, highlighting the importance of experienced officials on the field.
The game's final play is a Wilson lob to the end zone, which is fought for by Tate with Jennings simultaneous. Who has it? Stands. Touchdown.
However, the decade wasn't all about blunders. We witnessed iconic moments like Odell Beckham Jr.'s gravity-defying catch in 2014, a one-handed grab that defied physics and left us all in awe.
And Manning's gonna heave one.
These moments showcase the sheer unpredictability and drama that can unfold on any given Sunday, reminding us why we love football in the first place. The latter part of the 2010s and the early 2020s were a whirlwind of events that showcased the NFL's ever-changing social and cultural landscape. Colin Kaepernick's kneeling protest during the national anthem sparked conversations about social justice, racial inequity, and the role of athletes in activism.
Quality.
For the land and
The Cleveland Browns endured a historic losing streak, becoming a symbol of futility and a source of amusement, or maybe just pity for rival fans. Off-field issues like Aaron Hernandez's murder trial and the rubbing tug scandal involving Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, grabbed headlines and raised questions about the character of some within the league. In 2021, wide receiver Antonio Brown added his own brand of drama. In a bizarre meltdown, he took off his jersey mid-game and stormed off the field, making a bizarre and attention-grabbing end to his once promising NFL career, literally retiring in the middle of the game. This incident also highlighted the pressure and scrutiny that professional athletes face, not just on the field, but in terms of their public image. You must think you've seen it all, but tech geeks say otherwise. The NFL enters the 2020s on the cusp of a technological revolution. The league unveils plans to integrate artificial intelligence, AI, into various aspects of the game. Imagine fans watching replays where AI predicts future plays before they happen. This raises questions about the future of player autonomy and the potential for even more data-driven strategies on the field. Will AI eventually replace refs entirely? Perhaps challenging calls will be reviewed by sophisticated AI systems, eliminating human error. The future of officiating and game management hangs in the balance.
Getting to your seat and then realizing you are seated next to an...
One thing remains certain. The NFL is a league that thrives on change and adaptation. From the dominance of star quarterbacks like Brady and Manning to the rise of social justice movements and the dawn of AI, the NFL continues to be a cultural juggernaut, captivating fans and leaving a lasting mark on American sports. The future promises to be just as exciting and unpredictable, with new technologies, emerging stars, and unforeseen challenges shaping the game we know and love. The NFL has journeyed from a scrappy league to a global phenomenon, constantly innovating and adapting to capture the hearts of fans. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the NFL's recent history, be sure to like and subscribe for more explorations into the world of sports.